Hi, I'm Josh from Electric Scooter Insider, and today we are going to be unboxing one of the best-selling scooters, the Turboant X7 Pro. So let's take a closer look. First things first, let's unbox it. So here it is, fully assembled. It just took 2 steps, very straightforward. The first step was to attach the brake, and then you can tighten that with the Allen wrench that's provided. And step number 2 is just a simple case of screwing in each handlebar left and right, and that's it, you're ready to go. My first initial impressions of the Turboant X7 Pro, it's got a nice pared back black design. The red highlights add a bit of colour and texture to the scooter. It's looking good, especially considering that this is a budget electric scooter. Let's start at the handlebars. Now the hand grips themselves are wrapped in this really grippy rubber. It's really positive to see that on a budget scooter, because sometimes cheap scooters, well, they try and cut corners to make the cost of the scooter cheaper and their profit margins higher. And what they tend to do is actually put foam grips on the handlebars, and they deteriorate over time. But the rubber ones are going to last the test of time, so we're all good there. So it's a good start. Moving on over, we'll find the handbrake and the bell. I'll see if I can ring this for you guys. You can see how loud it is. Okay, it's pretty loud. You're going to hear that. But let's pay close attention to the handbrake. Scooters have a range of different braking methods. Some will use a handbrake and other models use thumb paddles. I really like the fact it's got a handbrake. If this is your first electric scooter and you're considering buying it, then you want to jump straight into something that feels somewhat second nature and natural to you. And personally, I prefer it. I feel like it gives more control over riding scooters in general. And you'll notice if I just pull down on the brake, that it operates the rear disc brake as well, and we'll come on to the disc brake a bit later on in the review. Next up, smack bang in the center of the handlebars, you'll find the LED display, and this will allow you to monitor your riding stats, so your speed and battery levels. It's quite common among electric scooters, so there's nothing to write home about there, but it's definitely worthwhile having it. And then if we move over to the right side of the handlebars, you'll find the ergonomically designed throttle. That's actually an all-in-one command center for your scooter, as well as enabling you to actually drive it. And this is why it allows you to turn your scooter on and off. You can turn the headlight on and off. You can select what riding mode you want, and there are 3. The first one is beginner, and that will take you up to 6 miles per hour. The next one is Eco, which is around 12 miles per hour. And then if you're a speed fiend, you can go straight to gear 3, which is your sport mode, and that will allow you to hit the top speed, which is 20 miles per hour. So it really allows you to do a lot. But the best part is that you can also engage cruise control. And that's pretty cool to have that on a scooter that is this cheap. Now all you have to do is you simply just have to ride the scooter along at a constant speed for 10 seconds while holding down the throttle. You'll hear a big beep, and then as soon as you hear that, your scooter has gone into cruise control mode, and you can give your thumb a rest. Moving on down the scooter to the frame and the handlebar stem, you'll notice that it's quite thick. Now I'm 6'1", I guess I have normal sized hands for a 6'1" guy, but I can't really get a grip all the way around the scooter. So if you have small hands, it might be a little bit difficult for you to carry, is because unlike other scooters that often store their battery in the deck, Turboant have chosen to store it in the stem. And what you're seeing here is the battery, and the battery kind of plugs into the stem, and then it's all within here as well. There are upsides to having the battery in the stem, but there's also downsides. So let's start with the downside. First thing is it makes the scooter pretty beefy. So it's not the easiest to carry around, but it does only weigh around 33 pounds. So you can pick it up for kind of short stints, or if you're getting onto public transport or going upstairs, you'll be able to manage that, but you won't want to carry it around for a long period of time. And although the handlebar stem may be a bit on the beefy side, it does make it really quite robust. And actually, as I was filming this, you're not going to see it, but it dropped off the table and it withstanded that impact, and this is probably about 1 meter off the floor, and it's done no damage. It's actually done more damage to my floor. So it's really durable. I could tell you that straight away without even hopping on the scooter. However, the upsides. The first one is that the battery is detachable. So let's have a quick look at that. So all you have to do is take the handlebar stem, lock it into place, press on the button at the top, you pull it towards you, you lift the battery up, and then you pull it off. So you're probably asking yourself, okay Josh, but why is that good? Here's why. Number one, let's say it's a Saturday morning, you've just woken up, the weather's beautiful, you're going out to the cafe, you get a coffee, but you don't want to leave your scooter outside because it might be a dodgy neighborhood. Well, you can take the battery out of the scooter, and that will give you an enhanced layer of security. Number two is that it makes the scooter incredibly easy to charge. Now, if we revert back to my point around some scooters store their batteries in the deck, it means that you have to kind of lug your scooter around your house to charge it, or in the office to charge it. Whereas this one, just pop out the battery and you can charge this wherever you want to go. The third benefit of this, and this is a really good one, is that Turboant sell additional batteries that you can buy for your scooter. And the reason why that is so good is because this puppy puts out 30 miles of range on a single charge. So if you have a super long commute, or you're going on a long weekend exploration and it's going to be over 30 miles, you can pick up another one of these batteries, put it in your backpack, wait until this one runs out, get that one out, put it in, and you've got another 30 miles on the clock and you're good to go. So they're the three advantages to having this battery and the thicker stem. Is it worth it? I would say so, especially if you've got a long commute and you're not going to be lifting up the scooter too much. Okay, we're done with the battery. Let's get it back in. And there we go, it's easy as that. Now, just before we go on to the folding mechanism, it is worth paying attention to the material used for the scooter as well. So the Turboant is made up of an aluminium alloy. This is very common on electric scooters. The one downside is that they tend to weigh a little bit more than kind of lighter premium models, like the Unagi for instance, which is made of carbon fiber and is very light, and you can see my unboxing video of that in the description below. But overall, the use of aluminium throughout the scooter does make it very durable. Next up, the folding mechanism. With the majority of electric scooters, they are very simple to fold. They have their different mechanisms. The Turboant's is pretty standard, but it does the job which you want it to do. So I'll just show you very quickly. So we need to bring the handlebar stem up, make sure that this folding lever is pushed all the way down. Just bring the lever up, and then once you have that clicked into place, there's kind of a supporting bracket here and a clip that you can just spin round, and it will stop that from coming loose as you're riding. And then just to take it down again, you just move that clip out of the way, pull the lever down, and it's a little bit stiff, which is a positive thing, so you don't want it rattling around. And then just bring the handlebar stem back down, and you'll see here that there's kind of a hook on the back of the handlebars, and that allows it to hook into the rear fender. So once you've hooked it into there, you can then lift this and carry it. Like I said, it weighs 33 pounds, so you're not going to want to carry this around for too long, but for short stints, it's really not that bad. Moving on down the scooter to the deck. As we've previously discussed, it's thin, and the reason why it's thin, just as a recap, is because the battery is in the stem, not in the deck. And although it's thin, Don't let that deceive you. It can actually hold up to 275 pounds, so it makes it ideal for heavier riders out there. Taking a closer look at the deck, you're going to find a thin layer of grip tape that wraps around the entire surface area. Based on my previous experience of riding the younger model, the X7, which also features the same grip tape, you're not going to have any issues with this. Your feet are going to feel glued to it. And that statement also holds true for if you're riding in the rain as well. It holds its own. You're going to stay on the scooter. Your feet won't slip around. The final part of the deck, which we're going to look at, is actually the kickstand. Now you're probably thinking, oh, why are you telling me about the kickstand? That's a boring bit, isn't it? But if you have a bad kickstand, it's incredibly annoying because you can just knock over the scooter at the touch of a finger. And the last model that Turboant put out, which was the X7 that I've spoken about, didn't have a very good kickstand, and you could simply just swipe it over with a push of a finger. But I have to say, it's clear that Turboant have taken on the customer's feedback, because this kickstand doesn't do that. I can show you here. You can apply quite a lot of pressure and it's not going to go anywhere. Next up, the wheels. As you'll see, the wheels are quite big for an electric scooter. They're 10 inches. Usually, budget scooters have tyres that sit around the 8.5 inch mark. But these 10-inch tyres, they're plush, they're big, and they're also air-filled, so they're going to provide you with enough sort of cushioning as you're rolling over uneven surfaces, which is essential for this scooter because it doesn't have suspension, and your wheels are going to provide that shock absorption that you desperately need, so you're not having a jarring experience. I would have liked to have seen tyre slime on the tyre, but again, it is a budget scooter and we can maybe let this one slip. Tyre slime essentially means that if you get a nick in your tyre up to, I think it's 6 mil, then it will fill that nick with the slime and you won't have a puncture. And you can kind of find that on scooters like the Segway 9bot Max. So maybe in future models, we'll see that on the Turboant. One thing that you will notice about the tyres is that they have a very slick tyre tread. Now this is a really telling sign that this scooter has been made for urban exploration. You could probably also take it out on grassy areas, flat, off-terrain areas as well. But my recommendation, if you are considering this scooter, is to keep to urban, inner cities, or even around your kind of neighborhood. It's going to perform best there. And then at the rear end of the scooter, you're going to find a matching 10-inch air-filled tyre, which is good to see because, again, cheap scooters, they cut costs, and sometimes you'll find that on the rear wheel, they've actually fitted in a solid tyre and it doesn't give as good shock absorption. So that's good to see. Above the tyre, you have the rear wheel fender. And as with most scooters, these operate as a foot brake. So you just have to push down, apply pressure, and that will allow you to come to a far quicker stop, as well as if you're holding down your brake. In addition to having the air-filled tyre in the rear, you will also find the disc brake, and it's really good to see that they have disc brakes. I prefer them personally. This is kind of the rating order that I put brakes, so it gives you some context. So you have an electronic brake, which I'd say is around the lowest. Then you would have a disc brake, and then you would have hydraulic brakes. So they really sit in the middle ground, and they'll give you the stopping performance that you need. Last but not least, you're going to find reflectors all around the frame, especially on the tyres. So you can see one here on the front tyre, and then also one on the back side here, and then they're also on this side as well. So if you're planning on riding at night, you're going to be lit up as well as using the LED headlight. And that's it. That's the unboxing of the Turboant X7 Pro. Let me know what you think. Do you think it's a good idea to have the battery in the stem, or would you rather that it was in the deck? Comment below if you like this type of content. Please give me a like. Please subscribe to the channel as well. And I will see you in that next video.